Will Optimus Prime make an appearance on the top 15 for the 4th consecutive month? Will vintage Star Wars be shut out, or at least nearly shut out again? Will Transformers continue their dominance from last episode? We will answer these questions and more in this episode of Investors Corner.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I know. So now that I tease it like that, it just makes it seem like, who can turn off now?
Passion for Collecting is the official podcast of Collector Archive Services. Visit collectorarchive.com. We grade and preserve your collectible toys, video games, sports memorabilia, and packaged trading cards.
We will get started with number 15, and that is Mattel Masters of the Universe 1982. They call it He-Man with brown hair, also known as Savage He-Man or the Wonder Bread He-Man, mail-in exclusive. It was graded a near mint plus 85 and sold as a buy it now for $5,999. So pretty rare item, a pretty cool item, and one, if folks, if you guys aren't very familiar with this, we talked about at a little bit of length in our last podcast. So if you want to jump back or go on YouTube and watch Josh talk about the Wonder Bread He-Man, it's on there. So
That's a high price, $5,999. I would think that those are in like the $2,000 to $3,000 range. Maybe that's a grade for all the grade chasers out there.
Yeah, the grades, the dark hair wore. So, it's just not something that you see that that often. So, number 14 on the list was sold by Wheeljack's Lab. As Ross likes to point out, they buy toys.
They sure do. They sure do.
And for those of you who aren't watching, anything that is sold by Wheeljack's Toys, he has a little ruler on each one, and it says Wheeljack's Labs. We buy toys on every single picture, so that way you're aware. In case you're wondering who might want to buy toys, Wheeljack's Lab does in fact do that.
Mr. Wheeljack.
Yes. So number 14 on this list is a G.I. Joe item. It is Hasbro G.I. Joe Series 4, 36-back Snake Eyes with Timber, graded near mint plus 90, and that's not an old grade, that's a newer grade. It went for a buy it now of $6,000.
Joe, what do you think about that for version 2 Snake Eyes, $6,000? Would you buy that?
I wouldn't buy that, no. But that's great to hear. I mean, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
I think with some of these things, it's like, people can't get into the Series 1 stuff, so like they're just getting whatever they can, and it's kind of driving up the prices, It's like a second-year mantle, kind of.
Yeah.
Plus,
I think it does. It does. I think the version 2 Snake Eyes has gone up a lot over the last few years. I think it's because people can't get version 1. It's way too expensive. But look, this is $6,000 and it's a 90. So that certainly kind of impacts the price.
That's our first of a little bit of a spoiler. Multiple G.I. Joe items. Next one is also something we talked about on the last podcast. A very, very interesting piece. Number 13 is a Leo Masters of the Universe 1993 12-back He-Man. Is graded 40%, which is one of the grading companies actually uses a percentage. It was a buy it now and sold for $6,200. Now, for those of you who don't know Leo is actually a company that is perhaps a subsidiary of Mattel, but sold these toys in India. And if you can imagine, to find anything mint on card that came out of India from the 80s or 90s in this case,
tough.
Very hard to do.
Very tough.
And Joe Curcio mentioned that, when you come to some of this stuff, there's paint variations that are unique to India. There are sculpting variations. Very, very rare piece, and $6,200 for a 40 kind of tells you, speaks a little bit to how rare it is. Number 12 is, this is, I'll say officially the second time one of these has appeared on our Investors Corner. But the first one was sort of a suspicious price. This one's a little bit more in league with what we would expect. Number 12 is a Kenner Star Wars 1978 early bird set, including the Luke with double telescoping saber, graded EX plus 70, and sold for a buy it now of $6,700. I think that's a pretty good price.
For 70, I don't know. It seems to be a little high. No, I don't know. Maybe.
What's a Luke worth just on his own? I mean, And the 70, I didn't break it down, but I think a lot of the 70 is the box grade.
Just to
There
give folks perspective, the market watch, the investors corners that we did with Mike Havens, I guess that was in March. It was the February eBay list. There was a 85 early bird, also a DT Luke, sold for 14 grand. Now this was a 85, so you see the difference in grade, right? It's almost double.
All right, so number 11 is a Mattel Hot Wheels Red Lines, 1971 old 442, colored blue, mint on card. It's ungraded, sold in an open auction for $7,100. The colors matter on this one. Blue is a rarer color. There was actually a purple one that looked pretty similar that sold in like the 5,000 range. In fact, when I put this list together, there was a lot of really cool $5,000 items that just didn't quite make the list because toys, I think, are up overall. So, but blue is one of the rarer colors and really sharp car for being from 1971. And whoever bought this, there's a grading company that you might want to protect that investment with because that was a hefty price for something that's sitting ungraded, probably on your shelf. Number 10 and 11 are actually the exact same type of item, just different grades, different setup. So number 10 is, I put down Kenner Lily Letty because Lily Letty was a company based in Mexico that worked on behalf of Kenner, but this is actually a Lily Letty product. Star Wars Boba Fett with removable rocket, and it's graded with a Lily Letty card back, EX60, so excellent 60. It's sold for a buy it now price of $7,749.99. For those of you that are aware of the rocket firing Boba Fett, this is not it. This is actually a different item. This was sold in Mexico, but they didn't glue in the rocket. So the rocket comes in and out, but it doesn't fire like the really expensive one. But as you can tell by the price, very rare piece. Not a fan of the setup on this one. For those of you who can see the picture, CAS.
I think that was done by the other guys.
It was, and I try not to say anything negative about other companies because everybody does a really good job. But what this particular company does is they'll grade the figure and then they'll put the card back in the case, but they're like separate. And it just, it's like that figure needs to be over that card back, and it's something that CAS specializes in. And I look at this and thinking, folks, you sent this one to the wrong company, because that card back alone. So for those of you who don't know about Lily Letty,
Gotta show it. I'm gonna show. Here you go in real time. There, look at that, Lily Letty. That is not a mint on card figure there, right? So that
are you kidding? It looks like a mint on card figure.
It does, right? It's an optical illusion.
Yeah.
Done by the magicians at CAS, or should I say Acrylic Masters.
So I don't know if I'm blowing up your spot here, Joe Curcio, but I think you had one of my favorites that we've ever done, which was what?
It was a Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a cool piece. Cool piece.
That was a while ago, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
dude, I remember. We get tens of thousands of items, but I remember that. I
love that. It's one of my favorite things in my collection.
Yeah, it is a badass piece.
And for those people that can't see or don't know about Lily Letty, the ones that were made in Mexico, I just say like the card backs had more of, I'd say like the grocery store action figure sort of quality to it, right? So the back of these cards were not color; they were black and white. They were either black with white figures or they were gray with black figures. And the card backs themselves can sell for a ton of money. Right, so this Boba Fett card back is probably a $1,200 card back.
I was gonna say 1,000, 1,200, yeah.
Yeah, so and it's cool and it's rare and it's cool to see them together. And like we're talking about with Joe, I mean, when you put them together, it looks like it's mint on card. But so that Boba Fett that's $7,000 as is, loose with the card back, is probably a $20,000 figure mint on card. They're that rare. They're that hard to find. So that was number 10. Number 11 is the exact same figure, graded without the card back, but a near mint 75. So it's a Lily Letty Boba Fett with removable rocket, graded loose near mint 75, and that one sold for a buy it now for $7,999. So, you got a more mint figure, but not have the card back, and I would way much rather have the card back because that looks awesome.
Yeah, just like my comment on these, it wasn't that long ago that the Lily Letty removable rocket Fett was like $2,000, and like it wasn't that long ago. It was like a couple years ago, and within the last few years, maybe it's kind of coincided with the tremendous rise in the rocket firing variety, and those go into like 100,000 plus all day. This is kind of the next best thing you can have.
Number 8 is actually kind of cool. Something that I learned about from Josh Van Pelt's his video, his 5 facts about 12 backs. So it is a Mattel Masters of the Universe 1981 8 back, and it's a test market version. So there's no warranty, and it's not graded. It's sold for a buy it now of $8,500. And I don't know whether that's a good price or a bad price, but I wonder if when that popped up, if somebody noticed it was the test market one and just was like, buy it now, because Josh said those are extremely rare, and I don't know what he has in his collection, but when he did his 5 facts, he was only showing the card back with no figure on the front, so I would imagine they're very hard to find. Going to number 7 is actually a really, really cool item. It is a Jakks 2005 WWF Ric Flair. It's an employee edition.
Ooh. Sorry, couldn't resist.
It's all right. It's the employee edition, and it's numbered to 25. It sold in an open auction for $9,100. So this is a slightly more 2005, slightly more modern version of this of a figure, but it was only made for employees. And the picture of this thing, like the back shows all the tooling and all that they did on his very, very articulate outfit or his jacket, and it just looks outstanding, and it's numbered to 25. I'll bet you this is, I know sometimes people hate to use Grail, Josh, but whoa, this has got to be a Grail when there's only 25 of them, and it's that cool. This would have been the episode like for Josh Van Pelt, right? But number 6 is Mattel Masters of the Universe 1983 He-Man and Battle Cat 2-pack. Mint and Seals box. It's not graded. Whoever owns it, I do know a grading company that will take care of that for you. It was sold out of Australia for Australian $12,500 as a buy it now, which translates to $9,668. And this is really cool because we talked about how these double packs are super rare and super, super desirable. And boy, this has got to be a really, really cool one if you have both He-Man and Battle Cat. And now that Netflix has announced their animated series, this is going to be something that you might want to watch with great interest. Going back to Star Wars.
I don't know that the gifts, the He-Man Battle Cat gift set is the rarer of those. I'm surprised to see such a high price on that. It's hard to tell from the pic. It must be in pretty good condition to achieve that kind of price.
Well, so if that person overpaid, I think number 5 was one that, boy, I wish I would have saw this one.
Oh,
oh my goodness.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Yeah. I was, man.
Today's market, this was a friggin' gift. So number 5 is Kenner Star Wars 12-back A and B, set of 10 of the 12 figures. So it's missing the Jawa and the Stormtrooper. Most are unpunched. Most are A-backs. And, well, I mean, I would bet that the breakup value of this is almost double.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
are they
goodness.
in good shape? Do you recall if they're in good condition?
They're in pretty good shape. A lot of them are unpunched. And then, like, the A-back kind of matters. So
kind of matters.
It does. Well, it has a big effect. In fact, there's one figure that it probably would have been on the list, except for the fact that the software that I use to determine what something sold for on a best offer wasn't working. But there was a CAS graded Death Squad commander, which of the 12 backs, I would say he's probably the least interesting, right? And I believe, if I recall, I think a 12A graded CAS 85 unpunched, no price sticker. It had they were asking $9,000. I think it sold for $6,000 because it's an A back.
Woo.
Yeah, but it didn't make the list because of that the software glitch.
5,000 of that is the CAS grade, I would think, at least.
The 85 and the fact that CAS,
Yeah.
Was this lot graded or no? They were all ungraded?
Oh, no, they're all ungraded. It just looks like somebody found them in a closet. But I mean, just, oh, my goodness. I mean, just they were, I would bet they're all 75s or better. And, yikes. Yeah. Definitely one that if I would have saw, I would have, there would have been at least 3 bids on that one. Let's put it that way. Because, yowza. That would have been some nice pieces. So, the ones that got away. And talk about something that has just skyrocketed in value. Number 4, Kenner Star Wars droids. So the droids card back. Boba Fett, graded Y EX plus 70, sold in an open auction, meaning it got 35 bids and went for Canadian money $12,998, U.S. money $10,774. I remember when $1,500 was a lot for this figure. Yowza!
That's a stupid price. Sorry.
You know what? I tell you, there was a guy on Deal or No Deal that had put it out there and it was getting a lot of traffic on one. I think that was a 60. So Boba Fett's hot, and it is a cool, unique figure.
Yeah, I mean, look, I guess nothing surprises me. I see people in like the ICCC auction group paying $300-400 for loose Power of the Force figures, the common ones. Like craziness. Market's crazy.
And that's sort of the point of this entire segment, right? Is to track the market and to see where these trends are going. And I mean, if we're going to talk about Joe Curcio, Joe mentioned that the sports card market is softening a little bit. Definitely not happening in the action figure market, because this is one that is just ballooned in price. Number 3 is actually Skeletor. Skeletor's third time on our Investors Corner. So it is a Mattel Masters of the Universe Series 1 8-back Skeletor. This one has full painted boots, which I didn't know that the 8-backs did, so apparently this does. It has a clear bubble with warranty and is graded a CAS 80 and sold for a buy it now of $10,995. And the one thing that stands out about this is that bubble is just crystal clear.
You can see your future in it.
Oh my goodness.
Man, it is a beauty. We talked about this with the prior sales of the 8-backs. Finding them with the clear bubbles like that nice. It's hard for Skeletor. I mean, Skeletor and He-Man are the top ones. It's a nice grade. Beautiful case.
And if like I mentioned that we've had other ones on there, and I don't know what I did. I had it written down somewhere, but
there's one in February. It was the same thing. It was with the warranty, right? So that would be the G2. It went for $5,105.
But there was also one that was
and it was and it was a 75 yellow bubble. So that's the big discrepancy.
And I think the one before, so 2 months ago, there was one that was graded by AFA that actually sold for like $1,000 less. So, boy, $11,000 for this. That is an absolutely gorgeous piece. Congratulations to whoever I was able to bring that into their collection, because, man, when you usually see yellow bubbles and you see it clear like that, there's no mistaking it. That is outstanding.
It's so sexy.
So,
almost as sexy as Ross, just saying.
Hey.
Just about.
I've been growing out my hair these days.
He's got that Fabio look going on. It's outstanding.
Hold on. There you go.
Hot stuff. Smoking hot. All right. Moving on. Number 2 is Hasbro G.I. Joe Series 2 20-back Destro, graded Mint 95. But this is an old grade with no subgrades. And that, not to knock anything, but that's just, over the years, companies change their standards a little bit. And to get a 95 now is almost impossible, right? But this sold in an open auction and it had 32 bids, so a lot of people liked it, in spite of the fact that it's an older label, and it sold for $11,099.
So, Joe, how did you come up with the money to buy that? That's
wow. A lot of banana splits.
He's been only doing one banana per banana. Oh, I guess there's always one banana.
I sold 15,000 banana splits to get my old grade Destro 95 that would grade an 80 now, but some fool paid that amount of money for it. God bless him.
I hope the people that are big, they had 32 bids. I hope the people that are bidding on this, I've always told people, you're buying the figure, not the grade. So look at what you're buying. And not that this is in bad condition by any means, but the standards have changed significantly. So, if you're, Ross said it really could be an 80, 85. Okay, number one on the list, G.I. Joe finishes strong. Snake Eyes with his second appearance on this list. Hasbro G.I. Joe Series 2, 20 back. Snake Eyes with the explosion back. And it sold for mint plus 90 in an open auction for $12,900. And this is not an old grade. It is unpunched. It has no price tag. I mean, basically, if you're looking for a Snake Eyes, this is probably one of the best ones on the planet. And, gorgeous. I mean, you could buy a jet ski for that money, but wow.
I think that one's worth it. For what it is, probably the top carded figure you can get. Well, the top carded figure you can
Going
get.
back to Star Wars, he's the Boba Fett of G.I. Joe.
Right, exactly. It's the most desirable G.I. Joe figure, most people would say. So, in a high grade, as you said, unpunched. It just amazes me that a figure that old can be in that condition. It still amazes me.
I know.
Yeah. Who kept these things that nice? I can't keep things I bought yesterday that nice, but
Last month, we had a Cobra Commander explosion back. And Ross, you mentioned that's probably a little rarer variety of carded figure for G.I. Joe, right? The explosion back.
Know that? Do you know that, Joe? Do you know if the... Yeah, I would think that the Coco is a little... I think it's rarer than the
very desirable. I personally think he's the most desirable figure.
Yeah. A lot of people would say that too, for sure.
But how about the explosion back? Does that make that more desirable?
Yes.
Rarer?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Just a rarer card back, one that wasn't out very long.
Yeah, they did that in the 87. They had the explosion backs, and then 83 they had the explosion backs. They were very rare for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just going back to Star Wars, card backs do matter, but oftentimes
Dr. Star Wars.
Here I am. That's the guy. But but you don't see that, right?
Doctor.
Unless
Doctor's in.
Doctor in the house, and I'm probably the least educated person in this room, but I'm Dr. Star Wars. Yeah, it's like I was annoyed.
Education and intelligence are two different things. You're one of the smarter people I know. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I watch a lot of YouTube videos. That's where I get all my information.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is that with usually a debut back is what drives the value in Star Wars, unless like something super rare like a 20 back R2 that is like 4 or 5 in the world. These were sort of mass produced, but just are in the G.I. Joe realm. Just happen to be just super desirable because they're cool. I mean, what drives it?
I personally think it's cool. It's an early card back before the pictures were released of the actual figures coming out. I think it's cool. I think it's cool.
Yeah. I think there's certain ones too that are unproduced, if I recall. I wish I could remember which ones, but there's certain of the earlier figures that are unproduced on that, if I recall, or maybe just exceedingly difficult to find. I wish I knew which ones those were. I should have looked at your Investors Corner before and came up with that information.
Well, you know what? People
Anthony,
can comment.
this is where you edit it in and throw it in.
Yeah, I'll do it. Just send me
creating
the
more
video
work
later.
for you.
I'll put it in there for you. Don't
Or
worry.
we can actually give a little bit of audience interaction and post your answers in the comments.
Put the comments below.
So.
Chris, I'll tell you this, guys. So you've been tracking this since January. Our first Investors Corner was technically the sales from January. So these two, number 2 and number 1, are the highest selling G.I. Joe items of the year.
Okay. And again, I just think the toy market, you're seeing a lot of these mid-range stuff that used to be like $200 and $300 now like $700, $800, $1,000. It's like, whoa. So a lot of like your mid-range stuff has skyrocketed. So, that's just, and that's to say the market, and that's why we do this. So, but that brings us to the end of Investors Corner. This episode featured 5 Masters of the Universe characters, 5 vintage Star Wars. So Star Wars made a comeback. 3 G.I. Joes, 2 of which were number 1 and number 2, 1 Hot Wheels, and 1 super sweet Ric Flair WWE character. So that is Investors Corner for June 2021. And stay tuned next for Ross. You say the title. I don't even.
Chris, you don't remember this?
I don't.
It just rolls off the tongue. What are you
rolls
talking
right
about?
off the tongue.
It's the trading card, wax and packs, investors. No, market. Damn it.
Oh!
All right, I'm going to do it again.
Bam!
Roll back. It's the trading card, wax and packs, market watch, investors corner, Chris's corner. Duh. Duh.
That's the most obvious name. But yeah, so stay tuned for that, and we'll see you in that place.
See you in that place, folks.
Whoa. That is some professional podcasting there going on.